Hello my lovies, I'm back at again with another video. First things first, if you hear any background noise, it's traffic and the washer is going. So that's what that is. I don't know why this never wants to focus. Here it is. But thank you for the people that view my channel, subscribe to me, comment. I will comment back. So I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time. Life is hard. Yes, it is. No one ever too quite talks about how hard life is. People always say, well, everyone has a story, which to a certain degree is true, but I don't fully agree with that statement because I feel like it's more of a journey. Because some things that people have, not people, but someone has been through, the fact that they're still trying to change or, they're in a better situation now means that they didn't give in to their environment. They didn't become, they got out of it. Some people either, some people have ended their lives. Some people are still where they are. So for people to change their situation, that takes a lot. That takes a lot out of a person. It does, because not everybody wants to do better for themselves. Not everybody thinks that they can do better for themselves. So I'm gonna be back. And two, like for example, the one thing that I had to learn is that, okay, money seems to be a problem for a lot of different people, which in my opinion, I believe that is true. However, before I get into the money, people always say, well, pressure makes diamonds, which is true, but not everybody could. It's not that they can't handle the pressure. They don't know how to manage and deal with everything. And with that being said, what I had to understand is that, people that are millionaires and billionaires that, don't have to kind of worry about things. It's more about attaining and continuing to keep what you have. So think about it. Like, I never thought about that. Hey, I don't know what that person did to get where they are. I'm not saying that people are bad people or good people, but you never know what someone had to do to obtain what they have, and I don't know what someone would do to keep what they have. So it's like, and then two, sometimes they say money and power change people. It's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of true. And it'll just be subtle changes. For example, we all know somebody that got a higher position or got a promotion. It'd be subtle changes. Like, for example, I don't know about you guys, but I've known people that say, y'all both do the same thing, both have the same title. All of a sudden they get a promotion, make it a bit more money. All of a sudden they start acting different, They start to act like, and I get it. On one side, if it's a manager position, they cannot be as lenient about certain things. I get that. But at the same time, why you gotta act brand new, So sometimes from what I see, money typically is a problem. It's more of not enough money, because the more money you have, it seems like the more money you make, your expenses go up. When I don't know why that is, but if you can make more money and your money you just stay, and if you can make more money and your expenses stay the same, that's the ultimate goal. It really is. From what I can see, money is always kind of a problem. It's either it's not enough money, or two, you have some people that no matter how much money they do make or can make, they just blow it on things that are not so important or is more of a need instead of a want. Because think about it. True story. I had a debate with a buddy of mine because, the price of gas had went up and, the price of food had went up. So I was like, hey, the prices of stuff went up. That's kind of crazy. And they like, well, if you can't afford it, then don't get it, right? And I'm like, even if I could afford it, why would I want to spend why would I want to spend all this money on something where I could just go somewhere else and get it for cheap? So I'm just like, just because you can, that don't mean you necessarily have to. But I've noticed is money, environment, and not being happy. Sometimes you have a job and you're not happy about where you work, but it's paying the bills. You're looking for another job. You haven't got anybody calling back because it seems like it never fails of how places always say they're looking for help, but then, like, I don't know about anybody else, but I've sent many applications on Indeed. This was a while ago, but I sent so many applications on Indeed, and like people don't reach back out. And it's like, if you really needed help, anybody that kind of applied, you would at least schedule an interview for. But I digress. So it's to the point that, I understand that sometimes you gotta do what you don't want to do to get where you want to be. And I understand that being an adult is part of, a lot of times you gotta do stuff that you don't want to do what you want to do. Like, it's always a choice in the matter. Like, for example, if you choose to leave your job, you better have another one, or you're gonna suffer the consequences. And that may be, hey, do you have next month's rent? Can you pay for your bills and expenses you have to pay for? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's always a choice. But it's like, and then too, a lot of people are depressed because they're stuck. Like, they're stuck, whether they took a break from school, they took a job because to get have money coming in while they're working on their craft to pursue their dreams. Like, people always end up stuck. And with that being said, I'll be back. I really will. I promise. Okay, in life you learn things. You learn things from school. You may learn things from parents. You may learn from I believe that you're supposed to learn something from the people you're around. I never stop learning. With that being said, I think I've said this in a video before, but no one ever teaches you how to really deal with your emotions. They teach you the different emotions, and they say, well, breathe and all blah, 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 and whoop-de-woo, blah, da-da, and all that stuff. But they don't teach you emotional intelligence. Like, for example, sometimes adulting is hard. Sometimes people get stressed out. Sometimes people have mental breakdowns where they just cry, or they lose it all. You know what I'm saying? They lose it. Or sometimes people break down and cry. And it's more of a matter of it's more of a matter of, if someone is crying or if someone is feeling a certain type of way, why do you feel this way? Like, why do you feel this way? What's wrong? Because sometimes you have a period where you need to let things out, or things just come out, and then you have a level mind, and then you could be like, okay, this is what I could do, that is what I could do. Because sometimes things are too stressful, because you have to make a bunch of decisions, and sometimes you don't have that much time to think about, hey, what if this happens, what if that happens. Sometimes you pick the best, as they say, the best decision you can at that time, and just hope for the best. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's more so saying of okay, like, for example, this might be a long video, but bear with me. What I mean by emotional intelligence is more of, okay, someone may be trying to get into a relationship. Someone may be currently in a relationship. A person may have things that they're still dealing with. Sorry for the background noise. Things that they're still dealing with. Things that they're still coping with that can affect them. That they're dealing with that could affect them. So think about it. I'm gonna paint a picture. If someone is dealing with abandonment issues and trust issues, and let's just say, yeah, abandonment and trust issues, you should say those two. And say it's a situation where a situation happens where you feel like you got kicked to the curb, how they speaking, you're gonna 9 times out of 10, if a person were to feel like upset and cry about the situation, the reason why they may be crying about the situation is because they feel like they've been abandoned, So it's like, why do you feel how you feel, and it's okay to feel how you feel? But it's like, the saying will help me, help you, or especially what I had to learn is that I have to understand what's wrong with me or what I need, because how is someone supposed to help you if they don't know what you need, I'm hoping that makes sense already. And then it's things like, I wish I would have been told certain things, like, you could get comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Like, you can. And what happens is that, okay, the best example I have that can explain all that is that I have known people where they're constantly wanting somebody that either A, doesn't have their best interest, or is completely not good for them. But because, that's their norm, or they were there for them at a really tough time in their life, or whatever, they stay there. And yeah, they say, well, eventually, if the person gets tired of it, they'll leave. Eventually, that could possibly happen if that moment ever comes. But it's like, they're comfortable in a uncomfortable situation. Yes, we're taught you have to adapt. You have to be flexible. But at a certain point in time, when do you say, hey, I'm going that way? I'm going that way because that's better for me. People never talk about it. I feel like that's the one thing that people should talk about. Or two, I feel like, this is just my opinion. I feel like no one is really in tune with their self. And how could you be? Like, really, how could you be? A lot of times, there's so many things that you have to do, that you have to take care of. How could you be in tune with yourself? I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's feasible. At least not for me, not at this current point in time. Because sometimes you just have to have a tunnel vision and get whatever you're trying to do finished or done before you can even think about yourself. And by the time that's over, you're probably tired. So, I feel like eventually people stop working on themselves.